Hello, everyone. I hope that you can hear me over the wind as I am outside and the wind is blowing. But I wanted to show you all something really quickly. This right here, I don't know, as I look at it, it's kind of indistinguishable. You may not be sure what it is. What is that? A plant, a tree, a big old weed? What is that? It's almost indistinguishable. But this is actually a fruit tree. A fruit tree. I think a plum tree, surrounded by a bunch of weeds. Now, let me tell you something. Just a year ago, this wasn't all here. It was just one little weed that was growing up. And I said, I'll get to it. I'll pull it up. And I know it started getting bigger and bigger, but I didn't think this was going to happen within a year. But it did. And now the weeds are practically taking over this fruit tree. Now, this is what I want. I'm going to make this statement. This fruit tree, I would say, is a pretty accurate depiction of what is going on in the hearts of many believers, or professing believers, and what is going on in many churches. God has established churches to be producers of fruit in this world. If we imagine this garden being the world, He's established the churches to be something special, something unique, something strong, something nourishing, and something that produces more like itself. So I think some of the seeds from the tree has produced some little trees. And when I see these little trees, so it's actually not as many weeds. Think of the weeds as worldliness. So wherever you see the green are the unwanted weeds. I know it seems like the green would be something we desire because it's green, but the green is representing the worldliness, the sin that we don't want taking over our persons. We don't want taking over our churches. We certainly don't want it taking over the world. But look at this garden. It's everywhere. There's more weeds than there are fruit trees. This is the condition of our society. And unfortunately, this right here, like I don't know if I just said this a second ago, but when I saw a year ago, I saw the weed sprouting up. I ignored it. I said, I'll get to it. It's not a big deal. I'll just have to clip that at some point. And now a year later, it has taken over. It has taken over. It's almost taller. It's actually taller than the actual tree. And it's taken over to the point that when you look at it, you can't even really make out what you're looking at. Yeah, that's what's going on in churches. Little areas of worldliness that was left, whoever is over the church, who is put to be responsible for the churches, when little weeds pop up, they don't confront it. They don't remove it. They don't deal with it. They don't maintain the churches spiritually. And in the spirit, this is what's happening. Jesus talks about how a sower of seeds, how a man sowed some seeds, and some of the seeds fell among thorn bushes, and the thorns grew up to the point where it started to choke out the actual good produce that they were looking for. Now, this actually is not as many weeds because I pulled some up. I just couldn't take it anymore, and I pulled a lot of the weeds up. There was a lot more than this, but these ones that I realize are offsprings of the tree, I don't want to kill those. I don't want to pull them up, and I'm trying to think of a way that I can maybe just pull it up and replant it somewhere else so that we can have more of these beautiful fruit trees. Now let me show you. See how this looks? I want to show you one more thing. You see how this looks? Okay, there's another fruit tree over here, the same kind of tree. It does not have as many weeds. It does have some weeds. So if I don't get to that, if I don't address that soon, the same thing will happen to this tree that is happening to that tree. And we don't want that. But let me show you this tree that doesn't have so many weeds. Look what's on it. Do you see that? Fruit all over the tree. Look at that. it's producing so much fruit. Now, what normally happens last year around this time, when there weren't so many weeds, this tree was producing fruit too. They both were producing fruit at the same time. But this one, no fruit. That one, lots of fruit being produced. This one, nothing. It's just nothing. And it begs me to question, is it something about these weeds strangling this tree, overtaking this tree, that is causing it to diminish in its production of fruit? That's causing it to bear no fruit. In some cases, look, it looks like the tree is dying. It's not even leaves right here. So I'm going to stop there. I think I said enough for us to consider. This is the condition of the unhealthy church, which are most of the churches in our country. Okay, we've left sin unaddressed. We've invited sin in. We've become comfortable with it. It seemed like it was something small, something that wasn't a big deal. And then a year later, it and more weeds have overtaken this fruit, causing the leaves to stop growing and causing fruit to not grow on this tree. I think that's incredible how the Lord will use natural things in our world to demonstrate reality, because what happens in the spirit is more real than what happens in the natural. And the Lord is always trying to communicate. This is the way that he's trying to communicate. And then we have some much healthier churches, very few healthier churches, but where there are fewer leaves, where there is more sin being addressed and eliminated. It's not that there's no weeds in the church, but it has not overtaken this tree. And unless I get rid of these weeds, its fate is going to be the same as that one. I think there's still hope for that one though. So I'm going to, when I get a chance, try to get these weeds out of here. It's time to clean up. It's time to clean up. And we're going to try to clean up this area too. All right, you guys. Be blessed.